And now we move on to our second leading story. In Burkina Faso, about 2,000 people demonstrated on Friday in the city of Rio to demand for the release of Djibrill Bassole, the former foreign minister under Blaise Compaoré. Mr. Bassole had been imprisoned following a failed coup in Burkina Faso in September 2015. Members of the new Faso Alliance, the political party that supports General Djibrill, and some customary authorities in the Sanguié province have demanded that a trial be held as soon as possible. The protesters believe that the military court went too far and that there is only one solution.
We want impartial justice and that everyone is treated on the same footing because Djibrill has been in prison for 2 years. If guilty, he should be condemned, and if he's not, he should be released. According to one of our colleagues from RFI, the former chief of diplomacy of former President Blaise Compaoré has been detained for 2 years and charged with treason, breach of state security, complicity in murder, and willful jury. His detention had resulted from recording of a supposed telephone conversation with the president of Ivorian National Assembly, Guillaume Serom. In the conversation, Djibrill seemed to have accepted his support for the putsch in 2015. Without waiting any further, we have a correspondent from Burkina Faso, Saluka. Good morning. As we've said earlier, voices were heard demanding for the release of Djibrill Bassolé. What are his supporters saying in Burkina Faso about the justice system?
Il faut le dire, les appels pour la libération de General Bassolé.
The appeal for the release of General Bassolé originated mainly from the militants of his party and the new alliance of Faso, and of course the nationals of Sanguié, his province of origin. For them, essentially, Djibrill Bassolé is the victim of arbitrary detention, and for this, it must be remembered that it's now 2 years that Djibrill Bassolé is put to judgment for his alleged participation in the military coup in September 2015 against the transitional power at that time. From his cell, Djibrill Bassolé had always proclaimed his innocence, crying out at political machination. All his requests for provisional release had been rejected. The United Nations Working Group on arbitrary detention had given green to be mailed to Bassolé's supporters. The UN group had denounced the arbitrary deprivation of liberty of Bassolé and had therefore requested his release. Then his followers demanded that he be judged or released. For them, it is a permission to deprive anyone of their freedom for more than 2 years without trial. For them, it is clear Djibrill Bassolé is neither more or less than a political prisoner. He still languishes in detention. Saluka, the health minister, the former health minister, had been controversial. The health of the minister has been a controversy, and several visits to the hospital has been spoken about.
Djibrill Bassolé souffre de problèmes cardiaques, une maladie qu'il traîne bien avant son arrestation.
Djibrill Bassolé suffers from heart problems, a disease he has had before his arrest and seemed to have forgotten worse with this detention. At least that is what the supporters say. His lawyers and his personal physician had always maintained that his condition requires evacuation, and the request they had made to the military tribunal had failed, forcing the former chief of diplomacy of Burkina Faso to consult a clinic in Burkina Faso's capital. The health of Djibrill Bassolé had brought political opposition in the niche. It is recalled that in early March, Djibrill Diabré, the boss of this opposition, enjoined the Burkina Faso state to do everything possible to provide adequate care for Bassolé, and there's been some improvement since then.
Saluka, pour terminer, où en est exactement
to wind up, what is the state of his file? We're talking about the new phase of his trial this week. What is it about?
Sur le dossier du putsch,
On the record of the push, if justice is not at a standstill, it is just like the military judge had repeatedly announced that the trial will be held before the end of 2017, and we're now only 3 months before the end of the year. It is hard to believe that this deadline will be respected. As evidence, the hearing of the confirmation of charges to the 107 people were charged. Hearing held on September 17 had been a monster trash mess, after which the military court referred this crucial step as sine die. Indiscretions are pending the date of October 6th for the resumption of the confirmation of hearing. But for the specialists, even if the confirmation stage was to take place, it is impossible for the military court to hold the trial by the end of the year. This slowness makes them unhappy, especially among the families of the victims who, during the commemoration of the coup, did not hesitate to suspect the power